Hi, welcome. My name is Bethany Goss, and I'm here today to show you how pandas can be used to work with multiple different data sources. I worked with a learning institution called Udacity to get this project started. I'll be covering Twitter's API, .read_CSV, and how to export your own data frame from a Jupyter notebook. Some things of note: there are multiple ways to install pandas onto your device, and if you're planning on following along and you don't have it set up yet, my recommendation is to use Anaconda's version of Jupyter Notebook. You can use the link below to access the GitHub repository for the necessary files and notebooks, and I also have a video linked so you'll be able to get that Anaconda's set up however you like. If you prefer not to follow along like that, I do have an HTML version of the Jupyter Notebook I'm reviewing linked below as well. If you do plan on following along, you'll need pip working with your command prompt line. A really simple way to handle this is just to use Anaconda PowerShell prompt, which has pip working on it already. The reason you'll need this is because there's a specific pandas package made to work with the Twitter API called Tweepy, and you'll need to install that. You can use the command pip install Tweepy. I've also installed the config parser package for this project, so I can keep my API access keys and secrets a secret. Similar to Tweepy, you can use the command line pip install config parser. You'll also need your own access to the Twitter API developer tools. As you can see, we've read in two separate files already, both a TSV and a CSV using the pandas.read_CSV function. The longest part of this project will be the tweets from the Twitter API. So since the rate limit for the Twitter API is 900 requests per 15 minutes, this takes about 30 minutes to run. We use get_status to get the tweet ID and all the text associated with that ID. That's why there's that extended portion, so we get all of the text and not just a portion of it. Then you can create a JSON file using Python's .dump function. As a whole, this block of code allows, 1, for us to make sure that we are following the Twitter API guidelines, 2, to get text that we want to analyze from that Twitter API, and 3, lets us know as the code is running if there's a fail for any reason, hence the exception block. So I'm going to take a pause here and let this code run. Like I said, it's going to take about 30 minutes. Here we load the text we scraped from the Twitter API into a data frame. There are 3 main components: the Twitter ID, the retweet count, and the favorite count. Like I've mentioned in my last video, creating a data frame is fairly simple in pandas and doesn't affect your original data. And as you can see, there's some great visualization tools, so you can check your work. One thing I became interested in when looking at this data was what kind of dog nicknames we are likely to use. So I dismissed all tweets that were in the image predicting data frame that did not directly reference dogs by creating a CSV of not dog values that I found in each prediction column or series. And I replaced them in the data frame with a null value called none. Then I tested my work by going through the list once more. I merged the data frames together on the tweet_ID and made sure I hadn't lost any data by looking at my columns and the number of items in each column using the .info function. Then I used the .toS_CSV function to create a master data set from the data I had gathered and cleaned up. Confirmed that the CSV format kept the proper data types and found all looking well except for my timestamps. So I downloaded the new data frame from that CSV and had to change the data type for my timestamps back to a timestamp data type instead of a string before I created my graphs. The first graph I built, I used matplotlib's subplot function and decided to look at activity based on retweets over a week, which is why it was particularly important to me to change my timestamps. So what I was looking at is when are we more likely, or when were the followers of WeRateDogs, the Twitter user that we're looking at, more likely to get interaction from its followers. So as you can see, it's pretty average, pretty steady across all of the weeks. I used the pandas.groupBy function to rearrange the data frame by the day of the week. And again, I use a specific data frame function called day of week to get that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, except it was listed as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see when you look at the text section where I replaced the numerical values given with the actual days of the week. This project was an exercise in processing data from 3 different sources and creating a cleaner data set from those sources. From using Tweepy to the creation of your own data, I hope what you've seen today has been of some interest to you and will be useful in your own work. Thanks for coming along with me, and thanks for watching this video.